Let's talk about one of the most critical and frankly weirdest situations playing out on the world stage right now. It's happening in the Strait of Hormuz. You've got the US saying it needs to protect global trade and Iran saying it needs to defend its sovereignty. But here's the kicker. The proposed solution to the problem is starting to look exactly like the problem itself.
I mean, you really can't make this up. The United States' whole goal is to stop Iran from controlling the strait, and their big plan to do that, well, control the strait themselves. It's this perfect ironic loop. It's like we've hit copy-paste on geopolitics, and it's setting the stage for a seriously strange standoff.
And this, right here, just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you have the US basically saying, to make sure you can't shut this down, we're going to be the ones who can shut this down. And on the other, Iran is framing this as a defense of its own territory. These two positions just don't work together. It's a classic deadlock.
So why should you care? Why is this little sliver of water making global headlines? Well, because this isn't just about the US and Iran. This is about what you could call the world's energy artery. Just think about this for a second. 20%. That means for every 5 tankers of oil moving around the globe, one of them has to squeeze through this single, narrow choke point. We're talking about the oil that becomes the gas in your car, that powers factories, that heats homes. A huge chunk of the global economy is balanced on this one tiny spot. And that's the thing, right? A problem here doesn't stay here. Any disruption, any shutdown, it sends massive shockwaves through the entire global system. This stops being a regional squabble and instantly becomes a global economic crisis. And that means whoever has their hand on the switch here holds some serious leverage.
But wait, the story gets even more complicated, because there's a third major player watching all of this very, very nervously. A player whose stake in this whole game might just be the biggest of all, China.
So why is China so invested? It's pretty simple, actually. China is the biggest energy importer in the world, and a huge amount of the oil that fuels its entire economy has to pass through this exact strait. For Beijing, keeping this waterway open isn't just a good idea, it's an absolute economic lifeline.
Let's break this down with a really simple analogy to make it clear. Picture China's economy as this enormous factory. It's the factory of the world, right? And it has to run 24/7, no exceptions. Now, every factory needs power. For China's economic factory, oil is the electricity. It's what keeps the lights on, keeps the machines humming. If you cut the power, the whole operation just grinds to a halt. And that brings us right back to the Strait. The Strait of Hormuz, well, that's the main power cable. It's the one single wire connecting the power source to the world's biggest factory. You can see how fragile that makes the whole system.
So you can imagine, when the US starts talking about controlling that strait, what China hears is something very different. They hear, your energy supply is now a hostage. From their point of view, this isn't about global security. This is a direct threat to their entire economic model.
But here is where it gets really interesting. Because putting that kind of pressure on the system doesn't just hurt China. It has this nasty habit of flying right back in your face. It's what you might call an economic boomerang.
Let's just walk through how this plays out. Okay, step 1, the US moves to control or block the strait. Step 2, the global oil markets freak out and prices go through the roof, instantly. Step 3, Western economies, which are already struggling with inflation, get hit with another massive blow. And step 4, people get angry, and politicians in the US and Europe suddenly have a huge political problem at home.
See, that's the boomerang effect. The very move you make to hurt your adversary ends up causing serious pain back home. It's not a surgical strike, it's a weapon that's almost guaranteed to come back around and hit you too.
So, this is what it all boils down to. This is the heart of the Hormuz paradox. You have a situation where every single player, trying to do what's best for themselves and trying to get more control, is actually making the entire system more dangerous and less stable for everyone.
And this paradox has like 3 different layers of absurdity. First, you have the US, the biggest champion of free trade, threatening to block one of the most important trade routes on Earth. Then you have Iran, a country famous for threatening to cause a disruption, who isn't actually the one doing it. And finally, you have China, who wants stability more than anything, sitting on the sidelines completely powerless over its own power cable.
You can almost hear the conversation, right? The US says, don't worry, we're ensuring global stability. And China fires back by threatening to disrupt the entire world's energy supply? And Iran is just watching from the side smiling, thinking, welcome to my world. This has been my strategy for years. Meanwhile, the global economy is just over in the corner saying, guys, I'm not feeling so stable. In the end, what's happening here shows that the Strait of Hormuz isn't just a place on a map anymore. It's become a live stress test for how global power works or doesn't work in the 21st century, and it's revealing some really uncomfortable truths.
And that really leaves us with one final, deeply unsettling question. If every major power strategy to secure the global system involves threatening to break that very same system, who's actually left protecting it? It's a paradox with no easy answer, and the whole world is holding its breath.